Okay,
Okay.
you're live.
Yeah, I sent a picture to my kids when I was in San Diego to show her that we were getting on scooters, and it showed all of us getting on scooters, and my oldest daughter sends back, I don't know who that director is that's fixing her jewelry, but I want her shoes. And it was Tanya Russell.
Oh, really?
I said, you're not even noticing us having fun getting on the scooters, and you're checking out somebody's shoes. She's so funny. Okay, so announcements. Tomorrow is the deadline for pay setters. $20. Okay, all right. And you can go on Beth's link that she's put on her website, and you can do it there, or you can give it to me, and I'll make sure she gets it. That way we can let Brittany know who all's in our hub. Yeah. Okay, pay setters is Brittany Capps. What's her new name? Wirt is a national, and she does awesome pay setters. And what a pay setter is someone that's wanting to move up and or just do better at what they're doing. So if you do the things she suggests, you will improve your business greatly. But she tells you what, it's a crash course, it really is. It's 3 weeks, and it starts the 11th, is the date, and it's the following 2 Thursdays after that. So it's 3 straight Thursdays, and it's $20. Now you get a booklet that's,
So it's the 14th.
yeah, it's the 14th is Valentine's Day, so it's the 11th, the 14th, and the 28th. Is that the next one?
14th, 21st, and 28th.
Oh, then I said it wrong. Okay.
The 7th, the 14th, and then
The
7th,
14th, the 21st, and the 28th.
right, because it's not the 7th.
Oh,
7th
okay.
is next week, so it's the 14th, the 21st, and the 28th. I'm so sorry I didn't write those dates down. And we get a booklet. You pay the $20, the booklet will get sent here to us. Beth will have those, because Brittany does those. So remember, you don't ever pay for training. You're never paying for training. The money is going towards what she does to get that prepared for us. And the last time she did one, it was free. And she did all that out of her pocket. Okay, notice also, every time we do pay setters, she offers all these awesome prizes. And there's probably 700 plus people in there fighting for those prizes. So we're doing local prizes, okay? So just know there's gonna be prizes under this roof, okay? So we really, really want y'all to take this serious and really work it. And I'm gonna tell you, Brittany couldn't have picked a better time to do another pay setters because of the cruise.
Yes.
We don't have time to waste. Today's the last day for double credit for team members. Still not too late for that to happen. But now we've got, after today, you've got February through June. And she is really gonna give us, she says it's gonna be different than what she's done in the past, but she's really pushing us forward to try to earn this cruise, okay? And remember, it is not all about the cruise. Understand that, because if you look, I see what the company's doing. If you look at what you've got to do to earn that cruise, you are gonna be setting pretty in your business. You are. And we know what to do. It's just hearing it at repetition and getting out there and getting brave. And what does my notebook say? Doing it scared. Sometimes you have to do it scared. And listen, those of you that are school teachers, there's times we've had to get up and talk to our faculty, or go talk to our principal, or even sometimes we're up in front of our students and you get scared. You're scared. And you don't want them to, you don't want your students to know it. But we do that in everything that we do, in all professions really. Okay, so $20, don't forget. It's the deadline, is tomorrow. Our huddle call is Friday at noon, for those of you in the huddle call. It's tomorrow at noon. And some of you know what I'm talking about. That's just a call that you're on a certain group called the huddle group. And we've been taking pictures of our facials, people that we facial, and we put it on that group. Yes, ma'am.
Is that their Zoom?
It's a Zoom call.
Thank you.
Yes, and
I
it's
still
on
have
that
it.
little
I didn't
flyer.
get it. Okay.
Okay, make sure I haven't skipped anything. I'm gonna come back to something else we're gonna do starting tomorrow. But if you want to go to the Gardendale Leadership Meeting, it is February the 6th. The last day to sign up for that is February the 5th by noon. And that is $10, I believe it costs $10 to go to that. And that's Cindy Fox and Kathy Rogers Smith is 2 nationals. Cindy's the Alabama National, and Kathy Rogers Smith is Tennessee. And they come and do those leadership meetings, and they're phenomenal. they'll name they send through the company the top 10 directors in the state of Alabama, and there's usually about 8 of the 10 there at that meeting, and they let them speak and stuff. I do, I've got those new ones.
New ones.
Y'all, you would not believe, look what Ella Jo Davis does. Are those not gorgeous? She monograms those on
Oh, we're gonna make us all look bad. For real.
Knocking them up on the tree.
Need a hint of, Joe.
Thank you.
Pass it on.
It's okay to use disposable, but hey, they gave me a surprise birthday party Sunday, my family did, and Julie and Ella Jo were there. I mean, my girls just invited all kinds of people, and they gave me a dozen of those black washcloths. So I'm gonna quit using the disposable ones. Anyway, I thought that was cute, but Ella Jo did that. She has a machine that does that. So cute. I told her there's gonna be a lot of Mary Kay consultants asking you. Said that might be something on the side she does besides Mary Kay. Yeah. Okay, so Gardendale leadership, those are always worth my time, and I know that Kat has gone to several of them, and it's for all consultants right now. That's normally just directors. Then they started letting Reds and directors, and right now they've opened it up to all consultants. So I'm telling you, it's worth your time. But it's in Gardendale, and it is from 10 in the morning until 1 in the afternoon. 10 to 1. I remember one year when I was still teaching, I took a day off so I could go, because I was dying to go. Okay, February 7th is next Thursday. It's the new product launch. So we'll be all out in the big room, and Beth will be showing the new products to you, because I'm going to be on a cruise. Anyway.
You've already seen the products though.
Yeah, oh, I have, yeah.
You've already got it.
I've already got it. We've already got
How often do they do new product launches? Or is it-
Every
are you
quarter.
product spring and?
Yeah,
Okay,
every
so it's just like
quarter.
a
It's
seasonal
winter.
item? Okay.
Yeah, and actually, they've started doing a Christmas one, so they do a winter, spring, summer, fall, and then they'll do some for Christmas, holiday. Anyway, that's February 7th next week, so invite guests, and they'll be out here where they'll get to actually try the new products as well. So it won't be like a facial session separate like we doing tonight. Okay, and the other is February the 9th. That's on a Saturday. That's our next Saturday sizzle. And that's from 10 to 12 here on a Saturday. It's a great money-making time because usually there's several of these directors there, and we're tag teaming it. Somebody will do the opportunity, somebody else does referrals, somebody else does the skincare, and somebody does a quick color look. So it's really fun as directors to see the different consultants, the different directors do the different portions of the class, and you learn so many things because everybody does it different. There's no right or wrong way to do it. But yes, they always have stuff to give away. Great stuff to give away.
What time is that? You said?
It's from 10 to 12. And then, I think I've said it all. Tomorrow, you're going to see this it'll come across on our Voxer group. Some of you, well, we're all on the GNO one. But it's going to be a challenge to earn a free, I can't tell you. It just dawned on me. I need to mark it off because you're going to see it. You probably already saw it. There's a new product of one of the things that's in the product launch that if you have a certain amount of interviews and faces booked on your calendar by the 7th of the month, you're going to earn this for free. And it's one of the new products. And when you see it, you're going to go, yes, I'm so glad they got this. So anyway, I'm so glad I didn't say it because I almost did. And if you saw it, don't tell anybody. But in the morning, just know Beth is going to send it across tomorrow morning as soon as she gets up.
Tomorrow morning?
Believe me, she gets up at like 5 and goes to
I'm
work
gonna be
out.
right with her
So
tomorrow
her message will come out pretty quick.
Excellent.
Okay, so any questions about announcements? I think I've covered announcements. Yes.
Not a question, but career conference registration opened on Tuesday.
Yes, thank you. Why
And
did I
Gloria
not
Mayfield
have that?
Banks is gonna be in Georgia, so you know it's gonna sell out.
It's gonna
And I
sell
already
out.
signed up.
I'm already
Same.
signed up.
Okay, way to go.
Yep.
Brittany's gonna be down Mobile.
Yeah.
Paid for it.
Yeah.
Not yet.
My,
but I will, so
that
good.
was one of the prizes I earned last quarter was getting career conference paid for. So I got
Brittany
it.
is gonna be down Mobile.
She'll be in Mobile, yes.
Gloria Mayfield Banks or
No.
Just in Duluth.
When they do them, they're usually like a week apart or at the same time. There's two different groups. Mobile is Brittany Capps.
I think
Or-
we're just gonna go
Really?
Yeah, she's going.
Because you can't go to this one, the dates?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. As long as you go to one, that's the way I look at it. But I'm gonna tell you, if you've never heard Gloria Mayfield Banks, oh my goodness, I got to actually go and get a picture made with her. She's just so real. So real. She had on tennis shoes. I mean, she's just so real. She had surgery on one of her toes or something, and she had to wear tennis shoes. And she didn't. She felt bad because it was a big event she was speaking at. So they put Mary Kay Corporate put bling bling beads all over her.
I'm sorry,
Tennis
baby, I'm
shoes.
sorry,
They were
so
so
sorry,
cool. Anyway, some of y'all may have went to that. We drove all the way to Atlanta to see her. Yeah.
So you said, what's the new product that we could earn tomorrow?
Nice try.
Nice
try.
Oh, I'm not giving in to that.
But you're the nice
I
one.
almost said it. I mean, I almost went, and
That was a good catch.
I'm so proud of myself.
Okay.
Can't even believe I read
We're
it.
not right.
Okay, so now we're gonna talk about Valentine's Day. How many of you have been a consultant during the holiday Valentine's? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 of you. Can any of you tell us some things that maybe worked for you, or are you just ready to hear some things?
I was a consultant, but I didn't work it.
I got you, okay.
Okay.
So
Oh, can I
just-
say something?
Uh-huh.
Today's my 2-year anniversary.
2-year anniversary with Mary Kay, happy anniversary.
Okay.
Okay,
But I
so-
didn't work it.
Well, I will tell you this. I've been in Mary Kay several Valentine's days, and I've let many just pass right by me. Just like I have some other holidays, like graduations or Mother's Day, and a lot of that's coming up now. A lot of those good. This is a great time of the year from February to like June, because you got Mother's Day, Father's Day, graduation, all these appreciation days for nurses and administrators and all that. And if you utilize that, take advantage of that, even if all you get's 1 or 2 sales from it, it's something you wouldn't have got if you hadn't. So just remember. So I'm going to show you the one thing that I sent a picture of on not Facebook, on our Boxer group. But this is a roll-up bag, and it will roll up. It will roll up, and the outside of it, you can doctor it up with really cute bows. I didn't. I just put a simple bow. But it says head to toe satin body collection, and you have satin lips at the top. And I don't know if some of you saw the synopsis of it. She says that this is the satin lips for, you know, if it's a husband giving it to a wife, for all those kisses I'm going to get from you, and satin hands to hold your, you know, the satin hands to hold your hands, satin body to kiss it all over your body, but to hold your body. Sorry, Portia, that gets to Portia. Okay, and it says, I love you from the tip of your nose to the bottom of your toes. So the bottom is just filled with the crunchy stuff, but this is the whole satin body set. This is the satin hand set, and this is the satin lip set. Okay, and when you figure it up, I think I figured that up on my piece of paper. Yeah, 147, and your tax is $14.70, so it's like 160 something, and so I'm selling them for $150. Okay, so you're still making a
With
profit.
taxes, what?
With tax, $14.70 on the what was it, $147.50?
Is that including the price of the bag fee?
It's including the bag. Everything's included, and when I added my tax, it was like, because I have 10% tax, it was 161 something, so I'm just saying 150, and I'm not adding tax to it. They know, hey, you write me a check for 150, I can run your credit card, 150, good. It's all done.
Have you
And
sold
you-
any yet?
Yes, I have sold 3.
Okay.
Okay, now I've just started doing it this week, but my time has been limited because of what I've got coming up. But I'm gonna talk to y'all about some places you can actually really sell these, and I just haven't had time to go there and try that.
What have you done?
But the good thing about it is that, what was I gonna say? I had something to say and I forgot.
The good thing about it.
How did you sell the 3? Yeah,
Just by
Facebook?
sending text, picture, text. A picture with a text
Sending
saying,
it to men,
To customer
women,
or men?
I actually sent it to a mom that always buys stuff for her, a lady that always buys stuff for her daughter-in-laws. And I sent it to, the 2 of them were men, and they were family members, but they live out of town. And I know what I was gonna say. I show them this, and then I tell them I'm going to make you one and get it to you before, Valentine's Day. And you set up a time, like they may want it on the 11th, or they may want it on the 13th, but you set up a time when you want to deliver. Okay? But I have had some tell me no, but I do need this, this, and this. So there's some people that, they think, I don't think that's what I want to do, but could you get me something on a smaller scale? So you still sell something. Okay, so it's just getting them to think about, hey, Mary Kay has gifts for Valentine's Day too, because a lot of people don't think about that. So this could just be a way to open the door for you to sell other products, okay? But don't think it has to be men, because women love to buy for their man, and now they're not gonna buy probably a roll-up bag for their man, but we do have men products. And so you can tell the woman, I've got this great gift, if you think your husband might want to get you this, or if you want it, let me get your husband's name and I'll tell him that you're wanting this for Valentine's Day. Because it's just like a woman comes in and looks at your products, like for my open house, they get to put their special Santa's name on there, and they write their wish list, so they know what they want. When I call the husband, he says, well, let me just buy it all for her. And so she knows, but she would rather pick it out. So don't think you have to, I don't know all these my customer's husband's numbers, and they might get mad if I call their husband. Let the wife know. Let the girlfriend know that, hey, I've got this. Tell your boyfriend or tell your husband, and then we can work out something where I can talk to them, and maybe you'll get this for Valentine's Day. So just think of it that way as well. But one of the ways I wanted to bring to your attention that I think is the way I want to do this, but I haven't been able to because of my schedule this week, and I didn't get it till this weekend. But going into offices where the offices that you use. I've not had good luck going into a doctor's office or a dentist's office of someone that I don't use, but I've had great luck going into those type of offices that I use or my husband uses, and showing them things that I have. I go in with baskets of goodies all the time, and they start, oh, let me see what you got, and they start picking and choosing. So letting them see that, seeing it in person. Because what woman, we all have a roll-up bag, but what woman wouldn't want a roll-up bag alone? I mean, just that right there would make me go, oh, I gotta have that bag, that kind of thing. So think of that for this particular item. But don't let that be the only thing you do for Valentine's Day. Another thing that I've found is a Valentine's Day gift guide. And I can send y'all all a copy of this. Now, right now, I've just got it in plastic so that y'all can look at it and the edges won't get all fringed. But it's got build a basket, and it tells them how they can build a basket. What do they want to add? Like some of the things it recommends adding, it says pick any extras. A bouquet of roses, add $25. Gourmet chocolate, add $15. And this is something you would go and add to that basket. Okay? And they can even write in something if they want, hey, she loves Chick-fil-A, could you add a $15 gift card from Chick-fil-A? Sure, and you add that to it, and they just add $15 to the cost. But anyway, then it gives them things to choose. It's got the lipsticks, it's got and I'm gonna pass this around, let y'all look. Great gifts under 40. So see, if they don't want to do the basket, they can say, well, okay, I just want to spend about $40. Let me buy the satin hands set. So it gives them other options. And then it shows the fragrances. And then the men's fragrances, because women do buy for their husbands for Valentine's Day, and then it's got the man can. Okay, so it's very short. And this is another thing that I really wanted to do, and I still will when I get back from the cruise, but I want to print some of these out, staple it together. It's only like, what was that, front and back is like 5 pages. Staple it, but punch a hole in the corner and put a little ribbon on it, and go into those offices and hand it to them to keep. Hey, here is my shopping guide for Valentine's Day. My information is on the back. Just call me and let me know if anybody here would like to purchase anything. And now I'm big with I love using doctor's offices. So there's some that I do all the time. Like I go in, and even if they constantly, and I'll tell you how to get in those, but I mean, again, it's ones I've used. They service me in some way. But I go in, and the way I start is I offer them lunch or breakfast, and they pick a time where I can come in, and I take Chick-fil-A sandwiches, or I take a Subway tray or whatever. I always get my money back. In fact, there was one time I didn't get my money back, and it was because I had broke my leg, and I went into the doctor's office that was taking care of my leg. I had no idea they had 20+ people working in that office. And they jumped on the lunch, and I bought like 28 Chick-fil-A sandwiches, and only like 3 people bought something. So there's times when that will happen. But I go in and all I do is satin hands and satin lips. Takes very little time. You do it very quickly. That gets you in the door, and they give you your name and number because you're giving something away. It could be gift certificates or whatever. They give you your name and number. So then I'm in contact with them. And so then on a random day, I'll just pull up and walk in with 2 dozen Snickerdoodle cookies from Publix and say, I just wanted to leave y'all some cookies, you know, because I appreciate y'all, and you leave them. Next thing you know, I'm leaving, pulling out my car, and I'm getting text. Oh, I need to get a lipstick from you. I need to get a foundation from you. So it opens that door again. And I don't want it to sound like, oh, I'm buying cookies because I want some sales. No, I really want them to know that I care about them, and I want to take care of them. And so I'm just opening that door again for them. Okay, so those doctor's offices are the ones I'm going to go in with this shopping guide, and I'm going to have it stapled together and leave with them to see if they want to purchase anything, because a lot of places may not realize that you would do a basket. You know, you may not get a lot to do a basket. If it comes down to you sold a bunch and you're like, I don't know how to make a basket, just go in the Voxer group and start telling people, and we will show you or send you to the places where you can watch, because you can Google it for one thing, or Mary Kay YouTube, and it'll show you how to do a basket. But the lady the national that showed this, one consultant sold, was it 40? If y'all heard the story, 47 of them. So it can be done. You just got to know what people to ask, who to ask, go to, you know.
That gift guide, do you have that like available?
I'm gonna send it to y'all, and if it won't, I know I can send it like where it pulls up, it's on my Dropbox. If it will not let you open it, I thought about this coming here tonight. If it won't let you open it, I can send it to your direct email. So once you get it, and you just box me and say mine won't open, then just immediately send me your email, and I'll send it to you.
Can you also do that for the satin body cards?
Yes.
Satin cards?
Yes.
Because I'm having trouble with, there was a file put on one of the Facebook groups, and I'm having trouble converting
Getting
that.
it up, okay.
Ever
The printer-
considered doing a Google Drive?
Well,
You know, Beth does Google Drive a lot, but I'm not sure how to do that. I do.
Our whole school system does.
Huh.
well, I'll
You can
just,
do it through a Gmail account, and basically anybody who inputs their email to have access to that drive can have access to every file. So if you've got like custom profile sheets or tags like that, or the gift guide or things like that, it's basically just a folder where any of us can go
Okay.
in and access those
I'll see what I
files.
can do, because all of this, I just went right up to Office Depot and sent it to them.
whatever file I had, Office Depot couldn't open, so you must have a good file.
Well, he did have trouble initially getting it to open, so I thought it was my email. So I sent it to my husband's email at his work, and he sent it back to me to a different email, and the guy was able to pull it up. So, and I know that sounds crazy, but we have a CenturyLink email that we have trouble with all the time, so I just immediately said it's my email. And so I said, let me get it sent to a different one. And he was able to open it. But I'm going to show you another one I'm going to send you guys. It is a spring gift guide. So this will be for after Valentine's Day, of course. So if, like, let's say Valentine's Day, you're swamped with maybe school or something's going on and you're not able to utilize the time between now and Valentine's Day, you can print one of these out and take to your doctor's office, your dentist office. It's a good time for you to let those people know, hey, I appreciate y'all so much. You know, you pull my teeth or whatever they do for you. I appreciate y'all so much. I'm just trying to think. My dentist doesn't pull my teeth. He cleans them. But you clean my teeth. And now I'm doing Mary Kay, and I would just love to give back to you. You know, so if there's a time when I could come in and maybe pamper all the staff with satin hands and satin lips, I will be in and out of here in 10 minutes. You can do that in 10 minutes. You can actually do it in less time. And once you get in the door, then you are available to do things like this, okay? When you walk it, when I did my eye doctor, this one was so good. They had like 8 employees. and it was their lunch hour, and they shut the door during their lunch hour. They don't even have to answer the phone. That helps when you've got everybody back there eating lunch. So I had Chick-fil-A sandwiches for them. I brought it in a picnic basket. I had jugs of water in a cooler. I had a little bag of Snickers mini candies sitting there, and a big bag of chips with some paper plates and napkins. It was so simple. And they walked in. The minute they walk in, I said, "Oh, first you got to get pampered. You got to get pampered before you get your food." And they're starving, you know. So I squeeze on the end of their finger the scrub, and they're all doing this number. And I pre-moistened. I cut the throwaway claws, the disposable claws, in half. And I'd already pre-moistened them and had them wet in a Ziploc bag. And I immediately was handing them their cloth as they're doing this. They're taking the cloth, wiping it off. I'm going down and giving them the lip balm. They're putting that on, and then they're going, "Oh my gosh, how much does this cost?" You know, they're immediately, all this talk is going on. And then I'm saying, "Paul, put your hand out." Put their hand out. They're rubbing on the softener for their hands. I've got the hot water running at the sink right there in their little food area where they eat their lunches. And I immediately put the scrub, and they're all scrubbing their hands, and one by one they're going over there rinsing it off. And I have a towel that I brought myself, rather than them having to use their paper towels or anything. They're drying their hands off, and they're like, "How much is the whole thing? How much is it if I get both of them?" So have those things ready. Make sure you've got some in your car. If you don't have them, just tell them, "Hey, I can have them here by," just give a date, 4 or 5 days from now. But they're rubbing that off, and then they reach over and get their sandwich, their chips, their candy, their water, out the door. Now I tell them, before you leave, if you wouldn't mind putting your name and number in, I'm giving away some great prizes. And before I leave today, somebody's gonna win something. And so they're all over there putting their name and number in, and my little slip says, "Do you already have a consultant?" And they know to mark that, and they'll usually say, "I have a consultant, and I love that Mary Kay," and they'll still fill that card out, because they want a prize. But they'll put it in. But I'm telling you, that's how quick it is.
I was gonna ask
Quick.
about the consultant thing. So if they have a consultant, but they just, like I've had a couple of situations where they're like, "I have a consultant, but I really need this," and he tried to kind of guide them back to their consultant,
That's
but
what
they
you-
still just want to buy. What do you do?
Well, if they keep insisting,
Yeah.
then what can you do? But make
Exactly.
sure, I make sure I've said it at least
Absolutely.
3 times.
Right.
At least 3 times.
Okay.
Say, it would really break my heart if you were my customer and you were buying from somebody else. It would break my heart, and I just don't want to break any of my sister consultants' hearts.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they'll back off.
And it's always good to ask them, like, how recent their consultant was. If they
Mhm.
bought one foundation from someone 3 years ago, is she technically still their
Right.
consultant? Maybe
And
not.
I always do say, do you have a consultant that is taking care of you?
Yeah.
Or that is servicing you? Because then
I don't remember her name.
that will open up the
Yeah.
conversation,
Yeah.
because they'll say, "I don't know that she's taking care of me. I mean,
Yeah.
I bought something from her." I said, "Well, do you get a catalog from her every quarter?" No. They're not being taken care of.
Okay.
They're not being let known that there's new products out there. And I'm not saying that that's the availability to distill them. Still
Right.
ask those questions. But it then makes you not feel so bad if they keep insisting, "I really need this foundation. Please let me buy it from you." And I just don't want to take you from your consultant. Just keep on. And most of the time they will back off and they'll go to theirs.
That happened to me last week, actually. I facialed a girl, and she's like, "Well, my consultant lives in Florida." And I said, "Well, we can still ship. I have customers, that don't live necessarily here." And I said, "All you gotta do is just let her know, and she can ship it directly to your house. You don't have to worry about anything." "Well, I really want someone local." And I go, "Okay." I go, "But, it's the same thing."
Right.
I said, hers just may take like an extra day or two to get to you. And so I said, and I explained to her why and all that. And she goes, "Well, I just really don't want to go back to her." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." I go, "That's your decision, but I need you to understand why I would not want that done to me."
Right.
And so then she ultimately made the decision to buy from me.
And if
but-
it's their decision, that's different.
Yeah.
But I do, when they say, "No, I think I want to buy from you, she's too far," and they'll say, and I'll say, "Does she send you a catalog?" And if they say yes, I'll say, "Well, do her a favor and let her know that you're wanting someone local." Because I've lost some people that have moved, and they call me and say, "I've decided I want someone local." And I can't get mad at him. I mean, I understand.
Absolutely.
Because
Yeah.
so many people come up to my house on Saturday night at 9 p.m. wanting their foundation for church the next day. I mean, it's like, what do you do if that person lived 2 states away? and
I
they're
cut
gonna
the
go to
tip off my
church?
foundation
Yeah.
this morning and scooped it out
Yeah.
with a Q-tip.
So I can see where
I'm a dollar
some
for every
people,
one of my customers that does that.
yeah, they insist on having local, and so I get it. So I have lost some because of that. But anyway, those are great questions. But anyway, this is and that's gonna happen when you go in doctor's offices. I do wanna say this before I go through this any further. I went into a doctor's office once, and they were all wanting to buy something for me. And one of the girls sticks her head around a little, they're in little cubicles, and she said, I'm actually a consultant. And I was like, oh my gosh, these people are purchasing stuff from me, and she sells. And so I said, I'm so sorry, these are your people. She goes, oh, no, I just do it for personal use. I am not interested in selling. So keep that in mind when you hear that they've got one in an office. They may not even be selling.
Correct.
They don't know how to sell, and they don't want to sell. They just want to be able to get their products half price. So don't think that you're stepping out of, if they're saying they don't have one and they're buying from you, it's open game. But anyway, here's the spring guide, and it has, again, the basket deal. You're going to see some of the same pictures, but it's a little bit longer. I think it's 13 pages. But when you do a front and back, it's not too thick. But it's actually got the skincare in there, and the brow stuff, and the microdermabrasion and vitamin C squares and so on. And it's got the brush set, and then there's the perfumes. That's a repeat, and the men's cologne and the man can. So it's a very good one. So I'm gonna make sure y'all get both of those, okay? Because this is gonna be like right around the corner. As soon as Valentine's Day is over, let's jump on this, because this is for, and I think it says on here, it tells you Easter, April 21st, Administrative Professionals Day, April 24th, National Nurses Day, May 6th, Military Spouse Appreciation Day. I didn't even know they had that. May 19th, or May 10th, I don't know if that's on Mother's Day, May 12th, Father's Day, June 16th. So all that's on there. And so when you give this out to places like that, they're gonna see that this is for all of that. It's gonna make them think about the different things that they could be getting gifts for people from you, okay? Does that help? Okay. All right, this is just my handy dandy notebook here. But I'll pass that around and make sure y'all get to see it. Okay, the next thing I wanted to tell you was, I was just gonna go over some stuff that I found in doing my research that other nationals say they did to get where they are, okay? And this is gonna be stuff you've heard before, but it's known as repetition. Don't you remember? I used to be also an English teacher, and every year I had to teach 8 parts of speech. 7th grade, 8th grade, and 10th grade were the grades I taught that to. And it's like every year I'd have to go over it again and again and again, and some of them still graduated and couldn't pick out a noun out of a sentence. And they'd say, well, nobody ever taught me. And I would want to wring their neck because I know I taught them, and I know other teachers taught them. But the same thing happens with stuff like this, so we just need to hear it over and over again. So this first one that is real important to me is called 10 attempts a day. 10 attempts a day will increase your Mary Kay. That rhymes. 10 attempts a day will increase your Mary Kay. So I'm going to explain to you what an attempt is. Because when I was going through DIQ under my senior director, Jeannie Helm, she had to explain to me what an attempt was. Because I was thinking I had to have something major for all 10, and you don't. It was stressing me out because I was working a full-time job. Okay, this is from Abby Webster, but anyway, it says, there are times in our Mary Kay career, as in other aspects of our lives, that we tend to get behind for one reason or another. When we do decide to get back on the right track, it can appear to be overwhelming, and we look for a place to start. Now, this is what I wanted to do tonight, but I couldn't get my fan set up because I didn't think about it till it was too late. My husband sets my fan up for me. But there was this little thing I used to do with my 7th graders where you took a stick and screwed it on the end of my fan. And you have the fan sitting over here, and the stick's about this long. And you stick a roll of toilet paper on there, and you turn the fan on. And the roll of toilet paper just spirals and shoots all over the room. And the kids are going, what? It's just flying everywhere. And then when it's done and the toilet paper's all over the floor, I'll say, who wants to roll it back up? Now, there's always a clown that'll say, me. But all of them, I'm not going to roll it back up. That's the feeling we have when we're overwhelmed. When it just starts spiraling off and we see everything's getting out of hand, and then it's gone so far that we want to quit or we stop. So what I'm getting at is that cruise. If your January was crummy, if it stunk, I don't want you to look back and say, well, it's too late now, I'm done. It's like having to roll that toilet paper back up on that roll. It takes so long, and it's like, I can't do it, and you just want to throw it away. Very overwhelming. So you don't want to ever let yourself get to that point. Okay, the toilet paper can be rolled back up on there, but you don't want to get to the point where you're having to do that. Okay, so we don't want to let things get overwhelming. So this is how we're going to control every single day from this point forward. Okay, very important. The following is a very simple how to get back into the enthusiastic way of Mary Kay. Make 10 attempts per day to personally communicate with someone about Mary Kay, either the product or the opportunity. Now ask yourself, just what is an attempt? An attempt is just that, the business of attempting to tell someone about what you do and what you have to offer them in the way of service. A lot of people are afraid to say anything because they feel like, oh, I just feel like I'm begging for money. You're not, you are a service. If they need something and they don't know you have it, they're going to go to Walmart and buy it. They're going to go to Walgreens and get it. So why not let it be you? I tell people all the time, I want to be your Walmart. I want to be your Walgreens. I want to be, if they buy from Belk, I want to be your Belk. Yeah, name those big ones. I want to be that for you. Let me do that for you. 24/7, let me know, because you can always go on my website or online and order things. So you let people know. Okay, you talk with the lady behind the counter. Is she interested? This is an attempt. You see what I'm saying? If you make a phone call, does she answer? This is an attempt. It doesn't mean they booked with you or they said yes, okay? That's an attempt. If you give someone your business card, does she book on the spot? This is an attempt. If you call your customers, does everyone book or buy? These are attempts. Okay, every time you make that attempt. I always do the 10 calls a day, and sometimes I get nothing. I get nothing. And because some days I get overwhelmed with what I get back, when I get those nothing days, I don't think anything about it. You don't want to get yourself to the point where you are desperate. And when you go 2 days and you get nothing from your 10 attempts, and it makes you discouraged, maybe you need to up it to 15. It's okay to up it to 15. But when I was working my full-time job, I had to go down to 5. I had to do 5 a day. So you've got to do what works for you. Because once it gets overwhelming, you're like, I can't do these 10 attempts a day. And you're getting to that point, you're taking the fun out of Mary Kay, and Mary Kay is supposed to be fun. So go down to 5. Go down to 5. And once you start doing 5, and you're like, wow, this is easy, then go up to 6. Then get up to 7. But try to work it up to 10. Okay? And then, of course, this, you've seen these before, I think, these sheets with the little circles on them. This is in your, what's that magazine that comes in your starter kit?
Great
Start something beautiful.
Start Something Beautiful. There's one in there that you can make copies of. You all should have that. If you don't, let me know. If you've lost your magazine or your little kid tore it up or something, let me know and we'll get you a copy, because I know how that can happen. Or they colored all over it. But just make you some copies of that. And listen, use your discount card from Office Depot. Does anyone not know about that discount card?
So cheap. It's pretty good.
Oh my golly. They tell me my order is $51.50 because I'm doing all these black and whites and colors, and he gets it down to $11 and something. Who does that? Even the people behind the counter go, good grief, that's amazing. Because they thought they were fixing to get $51 from me. No. Anyway, guys, use it, and it's on MK In Touch. Click on MK Connections, and on MK Connections it'll say Office Depot. Click on Office Depot, and it says print card here. And it even says cut it out, take it in there, and ask them to laminate it, and they'll laminate it for you for free.
Under connections what?
MK Connections, Office Depot. Scroll down a little bit, and it'll say Office Depot. It'll say get card here. They'll laminate it for you, but what I do is
I didn't trust them, they know the code.
yeah, they even say I don't need to see it.
Yeah.
But I pulled mine up on my phone, made a snapshot picture of it, so it's in my photos, and I show them the picture on my phone. That's all you gotta do. You don't even have to have a laminated card, okay? So don't forget that. It was years before I knew about it. A lot of things like that are not because we just didn't want you to know. It's a lot of the times people assume, you know. And when my director realized I didn't know, and I had gone so long making all these copies of things, and she was like, "Oh my goodness, Susan, you get a discount." It broke my heart. Anyway, okay, if you give a stranger a copy of your Mary Kay Beauty book, does she respond in a positive way? Like she says, "Oh, thank you." That is an attempt, okay? If you hold a show for 3 to 6 people, does everyone buy or does everyone not buy? These are still attempts, okay? Remember, it really doesn't matter what the response or the results are at the time. The important fact is that you made the attempt. When you make at least 10 attempts per day, you will soon see positive results. It's a numbers game. We've been told that forever. It is a numbers game. I've given out hundreds of business cards, and then I get a bite, and the bite is awesome. And then 2 or 3 come around later, and I'll say, "How did you get my name and number?" "I just found this card in my purse." So it's probably someone I gave a card to, wherever. So it's a numbers game. You just have to keep playing that game.
Can I
So-
do something I
Uh-huh.
do, since I'm new and I'm trying to generate interest? When their birthday comes up on Facebook, so be careful of my mutual friends. I send them a private message.
Very good.
Happy birthday, I just got started in this, yes, I'm still teaching, but, you know, I need to practice, would love to give you a complimentary facial for your birthday.
That is awesome.
So I've had,
That is
I had
because
one
Facebook
respond
always shows you.
yesterday that said, "I need something for," she's the same age as me, and I said, "Here's my website, feel free to go look." And so I think I'm gonna do something on like a Sunday and invite several of them to come to my house. And
That
tell
is
them happy
smart,
birthday.
smart. I've never thought about doing
I
that.
do like a birthday.
Good idea.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, and I'll tell you, before I came, I prayed, "Lord, I just want them to hear something new, something that they didn't know, that they'll walk away saying, 'Tonight was worth my time.'" So that right there may be it. And Lord, if that's how you want to bring it on. Okay. I love it.
I love
Yeah.
to. That's
Yeah.
all.
Okay.
That's all you have to
Well,
say.
and most of them, the majority of the people have not responded back, but
Yeah.
some of them will say, "Oh, thanks," because it's former students.
Yeah,
you
yes.
know. And, one of them said, I already use a product, whatever, one says, "Ooh, sure, I will," but didn't, you know.
Right.
And then one said, "Oh, yes, I need help," so.
Very good.
And then you can get back.
And you just never get discouraged for the ones that don't. But one thing I learned that helped me, whenever they say, "Well, I already use Clinique," if, for example, or XYZ, whatever, don't be afraid to come back and say, "Oh, that is awesome. I would love to give you the facial so that you can tell me how it compares to Clinique," because the company always likes to hear those comparisons.
Okay.
And a lot of times they'll do it, and you'll convert them.
I had a student, I made little goodie bags for all the teachers and put in their boxes at the beginning of the year.
Mhm.
And so for the females, I did, just a couple samples, and then for the guys, I ordered samples of the men's fragrance and like a unscented lotion or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I tied it up in little bags and had, Hershey's Kisses and all that stuff, and put them in each of their boxes. And, so I had a couple of extra of the men cologne samples sitting on my desk at school, and I had a student that walked up to me and he said, "Why do you have a picture of a naked man on your desk?" And it was the top, not completely, but you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
he had his shirt off. And I was like, "It's just a cologne sample." He said, "Can I smell it?" And I said, "Yeah, that's fine." So then he took it home and he said, "I told my mom that I wanted her to buy me some of that Mary Kay cologne because it smelled really good." And he said, my mom said, "I can't buy Mary Kay, I'm so unique."
Oh,
So it was a competitor parents, y'all. It was so
Does
funny.
Unique have men's colognes?
Oh, I have.
Because
no
I
clue.
don't
That is
well,
not.
I don't think.
Probably not.
Let's put this straight. That is not a competitor.
Okay, I'm just saying,
Yeah,
But the point
yeah.
is, she wouldn't buy
She was not gonna buy
anything.
anything, no.
Well,
not that
I have a sorority sister that sells Unique now, but she still buys charcoal masks for me because it's a product Unique doesn't offer.
Yeah.
So it's, you know,
Yeah.
it's still
Yeah.
servicing them.
I have
Yeah.
a customer
Yeah.
who's a unique.
It was just funny
unique
for the people to-
consultant, but
It's so
for
funny.
some area
I like
stuff.
that.
I was like,
Okay, it
It's
says,
really pretty.
sometimes we become so caught up in the reaction and the end result of the people that we talk to that we fall behind in our efforts to continue on with our business. So make sure you're just saying, I got another attempt. I got another attempt. It's just like the 100 no's. You know, you get the no, you're like, woohoo, I got another no. So if you will make these attempts daily, the effort, the results will be there, and you will be back on the merry road to success. 10 attempts a day, 6 days a week, for 6 months will bring you director and or car. It can do it. Now, I actually only do it 5 days a week. When I was in DIQ, I did do it 6 days a week, but now I do it 5 days a week because my husband just loves to eat up our Saturdays and our Sunday afternoons, so it makes it hard. So I don't do it on Sunday for sure. But anyway, you get to choose your schedule. And if, let's say, you're gonna be not being able to do it for 2 days that week, try to squeeze in more than 10 one day. There's nothing wrong with doing more. I had such a successful day one day when I was doing it that I went ahead and kept going. Because it was like, today's the day. It's like rolling dice, hey, I'm winning, I gotta keep going. So it's like, I'm not stopping.
Like 2 minutes.
Okay, we're close to being done. Okay, any questions on 10 attempts a day? And you don't have to have a fancy sheet, guys, just get your notebook, okay? But the fancy sheet was kind of cool because when I used it, because you write their name on it, you slash the circle when she books, you put an X when it holds, and it gives you little things where you can look at it and tell, wow, this month I had this many parties and this many, you kind of see your numbers in front of you. Please track it. Because if you don't track it, you'll look back at the end of the month and go, I didn't get nothing. I didn't get any yeses this month. I didn't have nothing go on this month. And then you start looking at your customer profile cards to put in your PCP, and you're like, wait, I got 19 new customers. You've got to track it.
Tracked
you can
number
keep-
grows.
It does. It does. For cruise, you need to sell 300 retail a week. And if you track it, when you start getting to like 205, 210, you're like, I am so close to having my 300. It will make you work a little bit harder. It's just like Beth used the example. If you were to tell your husband or your boyfriend or your parent, depending on your age, if I work just 5 extra hours a week, I'm gonna get a free cruise. If you look at it that way, it'll make you say, oh yeah, I'll work a couple of more hours. I'll put a little more time. So, my time at night before I go to bed is when I do my 6 most importance list. I'm tired. Some nights I'm getting in there later than I want when I'm shutting down, like taking my makeup off and getting my face washed, and I'm like, oh, I do that. I do it. Because when you get up the next morning, you're just kind of going, okay, what is it I need to do today? I already want to know who are my 10 people I'm calling. Who are they? And if you run out of names, we talked about this, I think, week before I went to leadership. Get out there and get names. Go into businesses or something and tell them you're honoring working women, something to get some names going and get back on track again. Because women start this business every day, and some of them start only knowing 1 or 2 people. And they run with it because they facial those 1 or 2 people and they get names from those 2 people. And then they go to those names and facial them and get names from those people. People move to a new town and start running with the business because they go and get 1 or 2 names from a booth or 1 or 2 names from talking in the grocery store or whatever, and then from there it grows. I always hate to use this example, but it's like a disease, If you've got a disease hand, you shake somebody's hand, you've now spread the disease, and it just goes like, well, that's how this business can work. It's a wonderful disease. It's a wonderful Mary Kay disease, but it will spread like crazy if we work it. A single facial, when I first started, I used to think, well, I don't do the referral game when I've got a single facial. I mean, you can't play a game with one person. That's how I thought. So I was, the majority of the people, because I was what they called a catalog consultant. You know, my kids were playing sports, one was playing sports and one was in the band, so I was always in the bleachers and the stands, going to competitions and tournaments, passing out a catalog. Hey, I'm sell Mary Kay, I sell Mary Kay. This was before cell phones, y'all, I am pretty old, and it was before texting, so, you know, I kinda had to deal with just emails and just word of mouth. But that's all I did, and I didn't do very many facials, because there was not a night I wasn't at a ball game, and I was, you know, trying to do other things with my job as well. So I didn't do a lot of facials, but when one or two would say, well, can I try the skincare, or can I come over? And yeah, they'd come over, and I never would do referrals. I was not growing at all, and it was me not thinking. But once I realized, whether it's a party or a single facial, you always get names. You don't have to call it a referral game. You don't have to say, well, we're fixing to play a game. You can just say, you're gonna win, because you're the only one here. You say, you turn the profile card over, and that's when you go into your sharing names. And if they only give you one name, that's okay. You know, if they say, well, I don't know anybody. Well, where does your mom live? Well, she lives across the street from me. How about your mom? You know, and they may say, well, mom lives in Texas, you know, or whatever. And you say, well, that won't work. Or we could do a facial in a bag, you know, over through the mail. But you start asking them, well, do you have any sisters or brothers? Well, your brothers, are they married? What about their wives? Do they live here local? Yeah. How about them? Sure. You get them thinking. Whenever they say, I don't know anybody, it's not necessarily them not wanting to put names down, but they really think they don't know anybody. How many of you met that say, I don't have any friends? Yes, they do.
That happened to me last week with the facial that I had. She's like, well, I just moved you and I really don't know anyone. I said, but you work.
There you
did
go.
say that you work.
Mhm.
And so the best referral sheet that I have is that one that has like, who's the millennial that you know,
Oh,
who's
yeah.
over 50, you know, so that it makes them kind of think of
Mm-hmm.
people rather than, because if you give me, at least for me, if you give me a topic or something, it takes the thinking out.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, I know this girl, she's under, you know, she's 22 or whatever, and so
Yeah, that
that's what
sheet is really
means.
good, because a lot of times they'll open their phone and they start with the A's, and they
Yeah.
go down, and when the time's up, they may have only gotten through their C's or D's,
Right. I don't.
and they never get all the way through, so that sheet makes them think of, and I always say, think of someone who's fun, think of someone who's stressed, that they're just so maxed out with stress, this would really do them good. And who's your fun person, who's your fun factor you love to be around, and that gets them thinking about that.
I keep a couple different ones, like I have a little folder with a couple different ones, cause there's also a product one for the girl who loves products. She's gonna, like, if you put a name down on like a lipstick or an eyeshadow or something like that, and if that person books and holds the party, then the person that referred them gets that product.
It's that product, yeah.
Oh,
There's
that's
some girls that
another one.
really love
Is
that.
that like the,
Friendship.
Good.
I think
is it
a
the
Beauty of Friendship.
tic-tac-toe? There's one that's a tic-tac-toe that shows the product.
Chrissy uses a tic-tac-toe one. I think that's the one.
I will
And
just
she
sit there
just
and tell
loves
them,
it.
like, if it's a large group and you know it's gonna take some time, I would just, I play a song, like, I play
that's
a
what I
song
do.
in the thing, and then I'm like, okay, y'all can use your phones, maybe it's the top 5 most recent people that you've texted. Maybe it's the, you know, people that you hung out with this weekend. I just try to do that, and if I don't have a sheet like that, then I just try to like give them some ideas, and oh, okay. So they go to their text list, they can see who they're actually communicating with, you know people. So,
And guys, when you close out with them, one good thing, they always bring that card with them.
Yep.
Turn it over and look at it and say, okay, of the names that you put down, thank you so much for your referrals, but of all these names, who is the one that you think is for sure the most fun that's gonna say yes? And they'll usually tell you, and you star that one. And so you know you're gonna have at least one. Anyway, I hope that this helped and y'all got some good information. But y'all are welcome to look through this, and thank you for your tip too on birthdays. I appreciate that. Hey, one thing I saw, guys, that was cute. Some of you got these books, these little booklets, when you came to GNO one night. Some of you didn't, but I think they're on MK in Touch. But at leadership, they had some ideas for Valentine's gifts. And it would be like, one of these ran off, a little card, in a little clear bag that you tie at the top, just like a goodie bag would be. And they had the 3 eye colors and the cheek color in there. And that was, the ribbon was tied around it, and the card is in there with it. digital showcase, okay? So you can print these out. Because that was such a cute gift. Just a little.
How do I
thing that
stop
had the three, and then if they get it, somebody gives it to them, you can then talk to them about, like, put your business card in there. I say, put a gift card in there.
recording.
I have gift cards in here as well that looks, my daughter did them, I think they're so cute.
not letting me do
Right here,
anything.